Thanks for taking time out and joining this session on the orientation of the new CFP program. I welcome everyone on behalf of Finodemy. I'm Vineet Iyer, and I'm one of the tutors in Finodemy who will be actually conducting this CFP program for you all. So I thought that let me have a chance to interact with you all directly and take you through the program because most of you have expressed interest. So I thought it would be a good chance for you also to ask any questions if you have anything on this program. So thank you very much again for taking your time and expressing interest for this. So the agenda for today's session is basically knowing about our training company, then what is our vision, mission, value. We'll talk about me. Who am I? What is my experience? What is my role in this entire CFP program? So we'll talk about that. We'll also see what are the course programs that I offer through Finodemy. So today the core focus is on CFP, but we'll also be talking about the other two programs. Then we'll talk about what CFP is. Some of you know it. Some of you have heard about it. Some of you may not know it completely. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the benefits that one can get by doing CFP course. What is the career progression path? What's the structure of the course? What is the fees that you need to pay to enroll for this course and complete this? Then what is the schedule going to be of the course? And then what is the methodology that we use at Finodemy to teach these professional financial courses? Okay. And at the end of this, I'm going to open the session for any questions that you may have. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions while I'm delivering, you can put it in the chat box and I'll try my best to answer it during the program, or I'll take it at the end of the program. Okay. So that's going to be the flow of the session today. So I'll talk a little bit about Finodemy. So this company was started in 2019, and I am one of the founders of Finodemy. So the idea behind starting Finodemy was I actually started training in the year 2011, and that happened by an accident. I mean, I had no plans to get into training as a career. But I got an opportunity, and that was a very short-term assignment. I thought, let me give it a try. And I had completed CFP back in 2009. And in 2 years, I did not do anything related to CFP. I was working in a very different domain, although finance, but nothing to do with personal financial planning. So 2011, I got an opportunity to work for this institute, and then it was a short-term assignment, but I started enjoying CFP training. And I realized that although I completed CFP, I only knew about 20-30% because when I started training, that's when I got to understand the practical relevance of what I'd learned, and I could get that into my training. And I'd also developed keen interest on pursuing financial planning and helping people to manage their finance in a better manner. So I was parallelly doing it, but my focus was not mainly on financial planning. I used to do it as a hobby. So from 2011 onwards, the journey we started as a 3-month short-term assignment, it actually turned into a training hobby, which I wanted to pursue, and it was also helping me to increase my knowledge. So I worked with various institutes, starting with FPA, which is Financial Planning Academy. Then I worked with ICICI Center for Financial Learning. And 2019, I thought that let me start something on my own. And all this while, since 2011 till 2019, I was only delivering classroom training, and a very small portion of it was actually virtual training. But I thought that let me explore and extend my reach beyond the classroom, because since I belong to Pune, I could only conduct classroom trainings in Pune, and the access was only to people who resided in Pune. So, and I used to travel for training purposes across Maharashtra, and I saw that there is a need wherein people are keen to learn. They want to upgrade themselves, but quality education is not there. And since they stay maybe in tier 2, tier 3 cities, they cannot travel to Pune. At the same time, they are keen on learning. So I thought that let me start this initiative wherein I can deliver something online. And thanks to the improvement that is there in the internet connectivity across India, I thought that this should be feasible. So that's how I came up with this concept of having a fully virtual training delivery organization, and my vision is to actually have this training offered to any individual who is willing to learn across India, and at some point of time going beyond India as well. Okay, so that's the why behind Finerdemy. So I'll quickly talk about what is our mission. So basically, what we want to do as a training company is to help 1 million people to be accomplished financial professionals. Okay, so when I say 1 million, this 1 million in turn will create a difference in the lives of hundreds of other people. So if I'm able to create a difference and help make 1 million financial professionals, they in turn can multiply that by at least 100 times. So that's the vision that we have as a training organization. The vision is to offer dynamic and not be very academic in nature. We want to keep it practical. We want to ensure that we are interacting with the students. And when I say students, it is actual students who are still pursuing studies and working professionals. Okay, so we want to ensure that we match up to the pace of each category of people who want to enroll themselves. And the idea is to start from the scratch and ensure that your basic concepts are clear. And if your basic concepts are clear, then the curriculum and the course program becomes relatively easier. So that's the vision that we have for our organization. And lastly, we want to be the most ethical organization. We want to excel in the field what we are doing, and then we also want to be accountable towards our students, wherein we are not only helping them to clear the exam, but we are also helping them in their career. So that's the value system that we want to create, and we are working towards it. Okay. A little bit about me. So I have about 14 years of experience, starting with sales, then later part of my career, although I was doing freelance training delivery for these courses, but my last organization was BNY Mellon. So it's again a custodian bank. And the last part of my career, I was as a part of the learning and development team, wherein I used to also deliver training programs and also was involved in content development. So everything put together, sales, marketing, insurance. I've been hardcore into selling of insurance products, mutual funds. I've done every sort of selling that is there in the financial space. In terms of qualification, I'm an arts graduate. I've done my majors in political science. And after completing my BA in 2006, I thought to do something, and I got an opportunity to work with a financial company, and that's how I developed. And then I did CFP back in 2008, and I completed in about a year's time. So that was my first certification in the financial domain. And I followed that up with CWM, that is Chartered Wealth Manager, which I completed in 2014. And parallelly, I also enrolled myself for the CFA program, which I started in 2014 and completed that in 2017. So that's the range of qualifications that I've been able to build over the past 14 years of my working career. Apart from training, I'm also a part of a SEBI registered investment advisory firm. So I'm one of the co-founders, and we have been doing financial planning for retail individuals, retail families. And that's where I'm able to apply these practical concepts, because whatever theoretically we learn, practically the concept becomes a little different. So I try and get that practical experience into my training delivery because I've been doing that since many years. I'm also empaneled with CIEL, which is Center of Investment Education and Learning, and that's a very big organization wherein they provide a lot of training programs in the financial domain. So I work with them as a training consultant, and I've delivered several programs for them for various banks, mutual fund companies, wealth management companies, and then I'm also associated with SBI Mutual Fund, HDFC Mutual Fund directly, and Fiat Automobiles also I'm associated, wherein I do programs for them for their senior level staff and help them to manage their finances. And I also am a visiting faculty with ICFI Business School, wherein I teach some of the finance subjects. So that's about me. So what are we doing in Finerdemy? So what our aim is to offer the 3 premium courses in the financial domain, starting with CFP. Then we intend to start with CWM, and then we intend to start with CFA. And right now, what we are starting with is CFP. Although we did the first batch last year, and now we are starting with the second batch under Finodemy. And my target is by December of this year to also launch CWM course, and eventually sometime next year I'll be launching the CFA program as well. Right, so that's what we'll be doing. But today, the reason we are here is to talk about the CFP program and what it is all about. So CFP stands for Certified Financial Planner Program, and it's one of the most desirable and one of the most respected global certification in the field of financial planning. And it's actually run by a body called as Financial Planning Standards Board, which is based out of Denver, USA. What FPSB does is they have this program that they deliver in about 27 countries and territories across the globe. I'm going to show you some of the countries that offer CFP program and recognizes CFP program in their nation. So I'm going to talk about that. But the good thing about the good thing about the Indian CFP is that it's directly administered by FPSB USA. Okay. And that was a recent change that happened back in April 2019. Otherwise, it used to be through an affiliate. So there was an Indian chapter, and that Indian chapter used to conduct the CFP program since about 18 years. So it was launched somewhere in 2001. So from 2001 till 2018, it was run by an Indian affiliate. But there were some challenges, and then the FPSB direct body took over the control of running this CFP program in India. So it's got this international flavor now. And I'm going to talk about the curriculum that is there and why it is now more suitable than ever before. So what is that benefit? Okay. It is also recognized by SEBI and NISM. So it's an accredited course. So if you want to become a registered individual advisor, then you can have this CFP course as a recognized course, and NISM also recognizes it as one of the key courses in the financial domain. And like I told you, CFP program is available in about 27 countries and territories, and globally there are more than 190,000 certificants who have cleared, and they're proud to have this qualification. This is helping them to not in their professional life, but also in their personal life. Okay, so that's all about CFP. I'm going to talk more about it. So these are the countries wherein CFP is recognized. So you have countries like Australia, Austria, to countries like China, Colombia, Germany, to Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Singapore, South Africa, Switzerland, UK, US. So it's actually recognized in all the key countries globally, which means that if you have done CFP in India, it becomes much easier for you to actually go and practice in these countries. Of course, you will have to comply with some of the local regulations, but again, the entry door becomes quite easier because you're doing a course which is having an international flavor, and it is directly conducted by FPSB. So it has more recognition than ever before in these countries. Okay, so that's how this certification is a global certification now. So what are the benefits that one has once they complete CFP? So I'm going to give you two aspects. One is from the practitioner's perspective, and the other is going to be the firm's perspective. So what is the benefit that you get as a practitioner, and what is the benefit that the firm gets as if they hire a CFP professional? Okay, so let's look at some of the key benefits that you get as a practitioner. So there was a survey done by FPSB in association with Cerulli Associates in about 6 territories. And they did these surveys with existing CFP professionals. And it was found out that 37% of the people earned their promotion, they got new job because they had this qualification with them. 57% of the people saw that they could grow their client base in the 12 months period following their completion of certification. 63% of the CFP professionals saw their income growing in the following 12 months post they got certified, because it gave them a lot of confidence. Their scope of advisory improved. 72% of the people were very satisfied with the kind of careers they have once they had this CFP professional certificate. They were more satisfied with their careers. And lastly, 87%, which is a very huge number, they were able to keep their clients for longer, right? And this profession is all about helping the end client. And if you're able to meet and service the client needs, that's where the relationship grows. And if the client is growing, in turn, inadvertently, you also grow as a professional. So the CFP professional certificate gives you that experience, that knowledge to pursue long-term relationship with your client. Another important aspect that has changed is there has been a recent regulation wherein if a company wants to be into investment advisory, they need to hire people who have professional qualification, as well as they need to be a postgraduate. Now, postgraduate can be in any field, but they need to have a professional qualification. And CFP is one of those professional qualification. What it means is that if a big bank wants to hire someone in the advisory department, they have to hire a person with a professional degree, and CFP becomes one of them. So if you're a CFP certificate, then cracking that, or at least getting that entry point, becomes very easy because you fulfill one of the three criterias that is required for an investment advisory firm who has a SEBI license to work and cater to the investment needs of their clients. So that's the big change that has happened quite recently in the month of July. Then what is the benefit of this program in terms of the firm? So how does a firm benefit if they hire a CFP professional? So again, there was a survey done by an international study which FPSB conducted in about 92 financial services company in about 12 territories. And what they found out is that 59% of the firms that employ CFP professionals, they had fewer client complaints, which means that the clients were more happy with the service delivered by a CFP professional. So the quantum of complaints were very less. 69% of the firms, they believe that if they are employing CFP professionals, the corporate risk is lower, which means that every CFP professional has to obey to certain code of ethics and has to display certain practice standards. And that is something which helps the company to maintain their corporate risk, at least lower it down. Okay. The next was 69% of the firms felt that when they hire a CFP professional, they inadvertently get an increment in their assets under management. Okay, so that's the third key benefit. And for any company, if their assets under management is growing, that's helping them to earn good amounts of money, and that's where CFP professionals are adding value. Then 76% of the firms they were able to increase their client retention when they had a CFP professional facing the client or handling the client. So the retention rate had gone up. Then 79% of the firms also wanted to hire more and more finance professionals because of the benefits that they could see from their existing set of CFP professionals. And lastly, when a firm exhibits that they have professionals who are having mastery in financial planning as a domain, they've been looked upon in a very positive way by the prospective clients. So that increases the client satisfaction on the at the level of the firm. So these are some of the key benefits that companies had. And if companies keep on seeing these benefits, obviously it will open up more opportunities for people who have these certifications. Now, what are the career opportunities? So where can one actually start looking for jobs? There is one career opportunity that I've not mentioned here, which I'm going to speak about. So first of all, there are specialized financial planning firms. At least in major cities, you will see these financial planning firms, and they are always in need of qualified financial professionals, specifically having CFP degree. If they, because most of them offer financial planning as a core service, they want to hire people who have CFP as a certificate because they come with that degree of knowledge, and becomes very easy for them to train and make them into the client-facing role. So that's the first opportunity that you can get. So cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, even Pune for that matter, have got opportunities in these firms wherein they are looking to hire people with CFP as a qualification. The second major opening or opportunity that one can expect is in banks, right? almost all the banks will now have a separate investment advisory division. So earlier, what used to happen, a distribution and advisory was kind of same, but as per the recent SEBI regulation, you have to segregate completely the distribution as well as the advisory, right? And you have to give the client a choice whether he wants to go with the distribution of the financial products, or he would like to only avail the advisory services. And that's where banks will now be creating a separate investment advisory division, and that's where they would want qualified people joining them. And if you have a CFP certificate, I'm not saying that CFP is the only certificate. There are other qualifications as well, but CFP is one of the easiest qualification that you can actually have as compared to some other qualification like a CFA or CWM. There are little easier qualifications also like NISM level 1, level 2. But again, it's not only about clearing the exam. You should also have the right kind of knowledge in order to sustain that job, right? And CFP gives you that added advantage. So it not only gives you that entry point, but it also helps you to have that knowledge available so that you can sustain that easily, right? And obviously grow with the organization. The third is wealth management firms. So there are companies which are into wealth management. These are not banks, but these are specialized companies which deals not only in financial planning but various other investment instruments like a PMS company, equity advisory company. You've got a AIF, alternative investments. So these kind of firms, they also need professionals who have certain decent knowledge about finance, and they will prefer CFP because that's more closely linked to the personal finance segment. Then you can also get opportunities to work in mutual fund companies. So it could be maybe in the operations team, or maybe it could be in the front end, dealing with advisors and helping them to cater to their client queries. So those kind of opportunities is also available. And the fifth, which is quite recent, is fintech firms, right? So there are few fintech firms who want to grow themselves in the Indian investment space, and they are coming up with a lot of online modules. So there are companies like Arthayantra, there are companies like FinEdge, even companies like Kuvera. I'm sure at some point of time, Paytm and other companies who are into distribution of financial products, they would also want to set up their individual or their advisory, investment advisory segment, and they would need professional financial advisors to cater to their set of clients. So that is where you can also get a job opportunity. Now these are the opportunities in terms of job. The biggest opportunity that that I usually recommend to people who want to pursue this course is to start your own individual practice, right? It can be an individual practice, or you can form a firm, or 3-4 people can come together, can form a LLP or a partnership firm or a private limited company, and you can actually do this practice. And there is immense opportunity, immense growth opportunity. We have been seeing that happening with our firm. Although we have been doing this last 5 years, but there's tremendous amount of opportunities. We have not even reached 30% of our what our target is. So there's immense scope. One can actually look at getting into the direct financial advisory because there is a need there. It's just that you need to have a little patience, because it's not going to be a case wherein you become a CFP, you start your own practice, and in a matter of few months, you're up there that level. That doesn't happen. So you need to give a couple of years at least for yourself. So if you've got that kind of a financial backup and you want to actually serve people and in helping them to have a better financial life, you should consider pursuing an individual advisory profession. Okay, so that's what the highest recommendation will be from my end. Okay, so we spoke about the career opportunities. Now let's talk about the career progression. So in case if you are a student and you are just a graduate and you get a job on wherein CFP is also helping you to get the job. So the kind of compensation that you can expect is anywhere between 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, depending upon what is the level of knowledge that you're able to display and what kind of company you are working for. So you can expect between 2 to 5 lakh rupees as the compensation for an entry level job. If you are a working professional, have few years of experience, and you do CFP, or you want to go to the next level, the compensation could be 5 to 15 lakh rupees. Again, depends upon the company, the city, and what kind of role you are into. It is observed that if you're working for a financial planning firm or any wealth management banks, and if you're into the client-facing role, the compensation becomes much attractive. Okay, because if you're into the client-facing role, you're obviously getting revenue for the company. Obviously, there is a element of sales, but again, that sales is based on the knowledge. You're not pushing a product. You're basically trying to help the clients in optimizing its financial needs, and that's where you are able to generate revenue for the company. And the more proficient you become in your job, the more you can earn. Okay, so that's the beauty of this profession. And then at some point of time, if you go to a senior level, the compensation could be anywhere above 15 lakh rupees. So entry level is 1 to 3 years experience, mid level is 3 to 5 years experience, and 5+ years can get you a senior level job, and that's where things starts really working. So you have to struggle. I mean, that goes without saying in any field, whether it is this field or some other field. Initial part of the career, you have to struggle, you have to learn. The more you struggle, the more you learn, the more you'll be better in your career, right? So that's the career progression possibility after CFP. Then let's talk about the course. So what is this course all about, and how many modules are there, how many levels are there? So this course has also gone through a significant amount of change in the past 1 year. So after FPSB took over in April 2019, they announced that they will be changing the entire course structure. They will be consolidating some of the modules. They'll be changing the exam pattern. They would be giving international flavor to the certification, which was mainly dominant to the Indian financial system prior to April 2019. And with all these thoughts in place, they restructured the entire program. And now what we see in the new avatar, we see that the CFP course have been divided into 4 tracks. Okay, so now it is called as tracks. It is not called as modules. So earlier there used to be 6 modules. Now there are 4 tracks. So every individual will actually be required to clear all these 4 tracks in order to get that coveted certificate of CFP, right? So the first track, what FPSB has launched on 1st June 2020, is Investment Planning Specialist. So what it means is that even if you want to complete only 1 or 2 tracks and you want to complete the entire course, that is also fine. But it is advised to complete the entire 4 tracks so that you are able to use that CFP after your name. So the first track that has been launched and it is in progress is FPSB in Investment Planning Specialist. And very soon in the month of September, the second track is expected to be launched, that is Retirement and Tax Planning. So earlier, Retirement and Tax Planning were 2 separate modules. They have clubbed both of them and have created one single track. Then the third track is the Risk and Estate Planning Specialist, wherein you have insurance and estate planning as a part. Again, estate planning was a part of the tax planning module in the legacy program. Now it has been clubbed with risk, which is insurance planning. And the final track is called as the financial planning capstone, which is nothing but the final exam, right? So this is how the course structure will be. There are many more nitty-gritties into this. I'm going to cover only the key topics, and later on, if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask me, or we can have an individual chat, right? So how is the exam going to be conducted? First of all, the exam is going to be completely online. Earlier also it used to be online, and they will be continuing to do this exam online. It has been said that at some point of time you'll be able to give this exam sitting at your home. Okay, so it's going to be an online proctor enabled exam wherein you can sit and there is a proctor who is watching you live, so that you maintain the ethics of the exam and you don't have any mischievous act done during the exam. That is what FPSB is thinking of coming up with. How that will be done, all those details are not available, so let's wait and watch. But until that point of time, the exams will be conducted in the NSE centers. Okay, so previously also NSE centers is the place wherein the exams used to get conducted, and the same pattern will continue till the time this proctor-enabled online exams, wherein you can sit in the comfort of your home and give the exams. So till the time it doesn't happen, so you are still required to go to the centers. And very recently they have started the enrollment for the exams. So So that's on. Since the past 3-4 months, because of the COVID lockdown, the exams were also stalled. So it's an MCQ based test. At least the first three tracks are MCQ based. So there are 75 questions in each of the track, and you get 2 hours to complete that 75 questions. And then they take a week or two. So earlier the results used to come instantly. Now the results will take about a week or two. It's not going to come instantly. They're still contemplating on the passing marks, and that's why if you see here, what they've proposed is 70% passing score. In the previous legacy program, the passing score was 50%. And the final track, that is the financial planning capstone, it's going to be a case study based exam. And I'm given to understand that there are going to be 6 case studies. They're going to be small case studies. Earlier in the legacy program, there were 2 case studies, but now this will have about 6 case studies. The actual structure of those case studies and the marks, everything is awaited. Right now, they are going step by step. So what we have is the passing score as well as only the investment planning specialist module is there. So I will repeat again that some of you missed that 70% thing. So the passing score, what FPSB is they're trying to figure out what should be the ideal passing score. But for now, what they have kept is around 70%. And when you give the exam, they're not going to instantly give you the result. What they're going to do is they're going to evaluate. They will see the level of participation, the level of scoring that students are doing, and then they'll be coming up with a defined passing score. But right now, it's going to be somewhere 70%. In another 3 months, you should have the exact passing score. My guess is it should be about 50 to 60%. 70% looks to be a little higher for a professional financial course. Okay, because if you look at the other financial course like CFA, CWM, even they have a passing score of about 50% odd, right? So CFP, I think, should come around 50%, which was the case in the legacy program. So I'm assuming they will maintain the same, but they are just in the testing phase. In the next 3 months or so, we should have that answer. Okay, so this is all about the exam pattern. Now, what's the course fee? So what do you pay FPSB for this entire course? So obviously the course fee has gone up. So earlier the course fee was about 40 odd thousand. So it has gone up by about 17 odd thousand. And earlier you used to pay in rupees. Now you have to pay it in dollars. So what I've done is I've also converted the dollar amount into the Indian currency in terms of rupee amount at some assumed conversion rate of 75 rupees. Again, the conversion rate might differ. Right now, we are somewhere at around 73. It could go up, go low. That's subjective, but it will give you a fair idea of what's the kind of amount that you need to pay in Indian terms. Okay, so the first fee that you have to pay is $165. Although FPSB has said that the enrollment period will be for a period of 1 year, or enrollment will last for a period of 1 year, but they can also extend that if you happen to complete some of the tracks, right? So if that happens, good. If not, then consider $165 as a 1 year registration fee, which you have to pay upfront. The biggest change that happened is that earlier FPSB never used to give any kind of books. They were always reference material, or the institute had their own material. But they have launched their own set of books, which is good from a student perspective, wherein they have complete clarity of what is going to be the content for the test, and but it comes with a cost. So what is the cost that is going to be levied by FPSB for each of the track? It is $60 per track. So if you're talking about 3 tracks, I'm keeping the 4th track separately because the cost is a little higher for the 4th track. But the first 3 tracks, investment, retirement and tax, and the third is risk and estate planning. For those 3 tracks, per book, you have to pay $60. So totally for 3 tracks, it will be $180. So that is where the fee has actually increased. Otherwise, this was not there in the legacy program. The fee is for the examination. So for per attempt, per track, what you have to pay is $61. Okay. So if you apply for investment planning specialist track and you register for the first time, you have to pay $61. For some reason, if you're not able to clear, you want to give again, you can give the exams multiple number of times, but you have to pay $61 for the registration of the fresh attempt. In the legacy program, you could actually give exams practically every day. In the sense, whenever NSE centers were open, and they were open almost 6 days a week, barring public holidays and Sundays. So practically one could actually give the exam one module by every other day. But what FPSB has done is they're going to open a 1 week window every month. Okay, so the exams are not going to be every day. So there's going to be a specified week, and in that specified week, the slots will be open, and you are only allowed to give exams in that slot. Okay, and you can only give one tracks exam in one slot. So you cannot book 2 tracks simultaneously in 1 week. So if you are giving one track in 1 month, the second track you have to give in another month. It cannot be in the same month. Okay, so that's the other change that has happened in terms of the testing. For the final track, which is the capstone track, you have to buy the textbook again, which is $120, which is roughly about 9,000 rupees. And the examination fee for that final track is $122, okay, which is about 9,150. Now here, when you are eligible to give the final track, you have to undergo an ethics module, right? So this is going to be run by FPSB. It's going to be a 5-hour ethic module wherein you have to go through those videos. There are some small testing thing, and then once you clear, then only you are able to register. So unless until you go through those 5 hours of module of ethics, you will not be able to apply for the final exam. Okay. Another change that they have done to ensure that only candidates who are prepared can give the exam. So earlier, what used to happen, even a candidate who is not fully prepared, they used to actually go and write the exam, and so the passing ratio was very, very low. So it was around 40%. But to ensure that the passing percentage goes up, what they've done is they've got a pre-evaluation, right? So before you can register for the exam, you have to actually give a test on FPSB website if you're registered as a self-pay student, or your education provider, the authorized education provider, will conduct that test for you, and that education provider will give a go-ahead whether you are eligible to register for the exam or no. And that is the report that the authorized education provider has to give to FPSB, and the basis of which FPSB will allow the participant or the student to register for the exam. However, if you're a self-pay student, which means you're doing it on your own, you have to give the test which is there on the FPSB portal. And once you clear that test with a minimum score, then you will be eligible to give the final exam. So there is a pre-test. For people who are professionals like a CA, CFA, you get exemptions on this pre-test, but you still have to give the exam. So in the legacy program, if you are a professional having some certain defined qualifications, you were exempted from 4 exams and straight away you are eligible for the final exam, but that has been done away. So that was called as a challenge status. So challenge status is not there. So right now what you have is you have to give all the exam. It's just that you might be given certain exemption from some pre-evaluation test. You can directly give the exam, but you have to give the exam and clear all the levels in order to have that CFP certificate. Okay, so that's about the course fee. And then once you clear all the 4 tracks, you have to apply for the CFP certificate, and for that you have to pay about $120 every year, and that is something that is a recurring cost. Every year you have to pay $120 so that your certificate gets renewed and you're able to use the CFP tag. And along with $120, what you need is continuous education points, which could come from attending seminars, writing articles, or there are various events that FPSB promotes. So if you're participating in any of these events, then you get some points, which is called as continuous education points. So you need 15 points so that you are able to renew your certification the next year. Okay, so that's about the course fees. Coming back to how we are going to help you in clearing this entire CFP track. What are the timings of the classes? So this is going to be a completely online class. There's not going to be any classroom. Okay, that is completely online virtual classes, but it's going to be live. So it's not going to be a recorded class. Okay, it's going to be like this. So it's going to be interactive. Plus, you'll be able to ask your questions, chat. You can unmute. Okay, because it's a webinar, you're not able to unmute yourself unless until I give you that access. But in a general class, you'll be able to see your fellow participants. You'll be able to unmute, share screen, talk to me, have your questions. We'll have quizzes in between. So all those, so that experience is going to be very seamless. And I've seen that working well, at least in the first batch. and I want to make it more better now. So that's the first thing. Because the course content has increased. So earlier I used to conduct the classes every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is only for 3 hours every week. And the content was very limited as compared to what is the content now, because the content has become bigger. Now what we have is we've got two sections in every content. Like if you're going for an investment planning specialist, you have content divided into two parts. One is the global content, which is 70%, and the other one is the local content, that is the Indian content, which is 30%. So every track will have 70% global content and 30% Indian content. And because of the mixture of all these two things, and plus they have also tried to include a lot of things that was not there in the legacy program. So the content has actually, the syllabus outline has actually increased by about 3 times, okay, or roughly about 2.5 times. And because of that, what used to be a 24 to 30 hours of class previously is now going to be a minimum of 60 hours of class, okay? Now, if I only conduct 3 hours of class every week, so that's going to take me about 5 months only to complete one track, okay? And if it is going to take me 5 months to complete one track, it's going to take at least 2 years to complete the entire thing, assuming that you are parallelly also clearing the exam. So that's going to be a very long journey for you as well as for me. So what I thought is, can I increase the number of hours on Sunday? But the problem is, because of online learning, the attention span is limited. 2-3 hours is good. Anything above 3 hours, the quality of retention, maybe the quality of delivery might also get impacted. But I'm more concerned about you as students. So your retention capacity might go down. So I want to restrict to less than 3 hours. So the only solution that I could think of is have a weekday batch. Okay. And since most of you are working, or your students, and everyone has a good internet connectivity nowadays, and evenings are generally free. So I thought that let's have this class on weekday evening, so that we are able to cover the content in a matter of about 2.5 months. At the same time, we are able to have the weekends available. So if you've got any engagements, or if you want to study, so you have that weekend available for you. Okay. So with that thought in mind, what I'm proposing is that the sessions will be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that is going to be for 2 hours every alternate day in that 5 days week. Okay. And Saturday, Sunday is going to be completely free, so that you can use that time to revise what have been done. And then, as and when required, we can have a doubt solving session maybe on a given Sunday, wherein we can all connect, and then we can discuss the challenges, problems, questions. So that is what my intention is. But that is going to be the classroom timing. Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The duration, which I'm assuming, is going to be about 12 months. With a plus minus 1 month, depending upon if there is any break in between. So that might increase the duration a little bit. But I think in about 12 months, we should be able to complete the course. And what I want to do, which, with all of you, once you enroll, is that I want to ensure that once you complete the track, you are immediately giving the exam, so that you are with the class. Okay. I don't want to get to a situation wherein we are completing tracks after tracks, and you are left behind because you have not attempted the exam or have not cleared the exam. So that is going to be my major focus this time around, because that's where I see a very big challenge, that students enroll, they come to the class, but they don't give exams, and that's where the big problem is, which I want to address this time around. Okay. Just in case if any one of you are not able to attend any of the live classes, you have an opportunity to see those recorded sessions at your own leisure. So we have a fully developed LMS. Recently, we have upgraded our LMS, so you'll be able to access that online, and then you can do it at your own leisure in case you happen to miss. Although attending live is encouraged, but there could be certain days wherein you're not able to attend a live class, which is perfectly all right. In that case, you have the opportunity to review the recorded session. So that's going to be a backup plan for you. Okay. And like I told you, we have a fully enabled learning management system, which is not only going to track how is your learning journey happening, but it's also going to test you. So we have got mock tests, we've got end of chapter tests, topics, concept checkers, plus in this season, I'm also going to have practical assignments given to you so that you're able to use that theoretical knowledge to apply in the practical this thing. I'm cautious about the time. I know I've overshot, so another 10 minutes or so, and we should be done. Sorry about overshooting the time. Then, yeah, so this is what is going to be the course schedule and other features. So what is the training methodology that we will have in our training company? So all the 4 tracks put together, the training delivery is going to be about 240 plus hours, 60 hours per track. And these recorded sessions, depending upon, because if it is a 2-hour session, there are certain gaps in between in terms of I give you some time to write down, asking questions. So I'm going to edit those parts. So when I edit those, it gets concise. So those videos I'm going to also convert into the concept videos, which is going to be roughly 50 hours plus. My focus will be to ensure that you don't only get the academic knowledge, but also get the practical side of it. And I help you to learn the concept so that it will help you in your professional life as well as personal life. Since we will be having a very limited batch size, and I'm not intending to have more than 50 people in this batch, so that I'm able to provide attention, not only during the class, but also whenever you're facing difficulties. If you want to have some one-to-ones to solve your queries, I'll be available. We will be also doing group projects, activities. There'll be fortnightly topic-wise tests so that I'm able to monitor your progress and see where there are gaps. There'll be doubt-solving sessions that will be there at the end of each module. I've increased the number of mock tests. So instead of 2, it has been now increased to 4 times. So that means you have 4 different mock tests, which will help you to be prepared in an actual environment. So you're going to be having a timer. The format, the structure is going to be the same. All right. And then you'll have support from me. And then the training delivery, of course, will be done primarily by me. So at least for the foreseeable future, at least for the next 6 months, I'm going to be the one who's going to be delivering the entire session. What else do you get? So I'm a very firm believer that you cannot do rectify, right? In finance, till the time you don't get the concept, you don't get the rationale, it's going to be very short-lived. So what I've understood is that every formula, so a lot of people, when it comes to finance, they get fearful because they know that, because they think that they have to learn so many formulas, they have to remember so many formulas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ensure that at least 90% of the formulas that are going to be there, you don't have to remember. So there are going to be some tricks, tips, which I'm going to give you, and the rationale and the logic that I'm going to give you, which will ensure that you don't have to remember those formulas. Okay, so at least 90% of them you don't have to remember. Okay. Plus, we will also be doing these WhatsApp mobile notes, concept posters, infographics, so that any important concepts, it becomes very easy for you to learn and remember. We will also have this question bank with detailed solutions, and the LMS upgradation that we have done. Once you attempt the question, if you have the answer correct, good. If you have the answer wrong, you'll actually get the explanation why the answer is wrong, so that you'll have a dual learning. So you're attempting at the same time you're learning where you're going wrong. Okay. We are also trying to have the placement and internship assistance. So as when the opportunities come, we'll present those opportunities to you, and then depending upon your skill set, how you crack it, you will be able to get these opportunities. And lastly, once you complete all the 4 tracks, I'm going to help you create a financial plan on Excel. Okay. So that you are able to tie back all the concept knowledge that you have actually learned during these 4 tracks, and you're able to apply it practically. So that is what I'm going to do at the end of all the 4 tracks. Remember, this is only applicable to individuals who have completed all the 4 tracks. I'm not going to have students who have not completed all the 4 tracks. Okay, so that's the seriousness that I want from you. So if you want to learn this, ensure that you complete all the four modules, okay, or the 4 tracks. All right, so let's come to the main thing, the course fees. So what are we going to charge for this entire intervention, helping you to achieve the final milestone of having that CFP certification? So the actual fees is 30,000 rupees. But if you enroll before 5th September, then you'll get an early bird discount of 5,000. The new thing that I have introduced here, since I'll be also launching new courses, in case if you happen to enroll for any other courses, I will be giving a cashback in the wallet, which is going to be in your Finodemy account, which we call it as Finodemy coins. So you'll be getting 5,000 Finodemy coins, which you can redeem against any future course purchases. Okay, so that's going to be the offer. And the fourth thing, which I've just introduced in this batch, is that just so that you are encouraged to complete these course, what I'm going to do is, if you complete the course within 15 months of enrolling with us, with Finodemy, if you're able to track all the exams, we will give you a scholarship wherein you'll get a cashback of 5,000. Okay, so that's the promise that we have. We want to ensure that you clear the exam, and we'll be happy to give you this 5,000 rupees as a cashback, as a reward, as a motivation, so that you are able to clear this. So that is something that you'll be eligible once you complete all the 4 tracks. So that's all about. So if you look at it, effectively, if you are able to get the benefit of all these things, effectively you get this course at a price of about 15,000. Okay. But of course, what you need to pay upfront is 25. That is 30,000 original price minus 5,000 upfront instant cashback. You have to pay 25. Out of the 25, 5,000 will come as Finodemy coins, which you can redeem against any future cost. And 5,000 is the cashback that you will get once you complete all the 4 tracks within 15 days from the date of enrollment with Finodemy. Okay, so that's the coaching fees. Yes, so it is 30,000, or rather, let me put it as 25,000 plus 57,000. So 57,000 is the fee that is charged by FPSB for the enrollment, for the textbooks, exams. That is all the 4 tracks. So that will work out about 57,000 rupees. And on top of it, 25,000 rupees is the coaching fee. And whatever I spoke about in the last couple of slides, all those things you're going to get in this 25,000 rupees of fees. Okay, so if you add both of these things, it will work out to about 82,000 rupees. So that's the commitment in order to pursue this course, which I think it is still cheaper as compared to some other courses. So that's about this course from me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.